G'day, Joel Rasmussen here for Southern Cross Combat, and ahead of his fight at Hex 29 in just over just under 2 weeks now. 2 weeks today. Oh my God, I'm talking to Mr. Jonathan Micallef. Jono, thank you so much for talking to me today. We're at Combat 1. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Just got done with some hard rounds. The body's performing how it should be, and everything's feeling perfect.
I'm glad to hear that. How is it? How is the first, not championship camp, because the last camp was for a title, but how's the first camp as champion?
It's actually really cool. I think it's something I'd like to get used to until I moved up to the big show, just because you've sort of got like a target on your back, and everyone's trying to take you out in the training room, which is awesome. It just makes you train so much harder.
Is that scary at all? We know your game, and not to ask, never ask a fighter, "Are you scared?" Because the answer will be no. But still, how is that different feeling?
Yeah, you know what? It is scary. It's good. You face your fears. Nah. Yeah, it's good because even on your hard days when and you're not quite feeling right and everything isn't sort of working and everyone's still coming after you, it's sort of like dealing with that and still being able to perform. It's cool. Yeah.
The last time I spoke to you on camera was after the fight backstage at Hex 28, and I asked you about how did you feel to be champion in that moment, and I don't know if I literally asked you what are you going to do with the belt, but you told me you were going to stick it under your bed and kind of, I don't want to say forget about it. Do you remember? Before I ask, do you remember what you said?
I don't know. I think between the adrenaline and the chaos of the moment, I sort of forgot.
Okay, so I ask you because I think it was a very funny quote. A rough quote was, "I'll stick it under the bed, and my wife can bring it out on special occasions when she wants to excite me." But how are you finding kind of being the champion?
As much of a huge achievement as it was, and it was awesome to get that win. It's just like any other fight. Honestly, it's just like rungs in a ladder, step by step. And the immediate feeling was incredible, but from now until then, it's sort of dwindled away as we've gotten back to work and started training for the next fight. It's sort of it's just repeats the process once again.
Do you know where the belt is at the moment? Is it literally under the bed at home?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's at we're at Combat 1, so it's downstairs on our little altar, on our little shrine that we've made for the fighters out of the gym. It's sitting pretty up there.
I'm going to say I saw before there's a couple titles up on there. As you said, it is a very nice shrine coming together. Talking about being at Combat 1, not to give a full layout of the place, but there's some lockers downstairs that have not names, but names written on them. There's the captain, which would be for yourself, I would imagine, and some of the other names. I wrote them down here. Ninja Ass, Daddy Cool, and Coco Bomb are some of the a few. What's with all the nicknames on the lockers?
Well, it's sort of a part of the culture here. We like to, develop a fighter name and, the personality behind it. And that's just some of the names have been given to some of the bright personalities out of Combat 1. You should look forward to seeing Coconut Bombs perform beside me in Hex 29, D. Samasoni. I'll give you a little insight into who that is. Yeah,
he's making his professional debut alongside you, as you said. I'm personally looking forward to Ninja Ass. I'm looking forward to that one. That'll be an interesting fight to watch. Talking about that nickname, you're wearing the T-shirt there, as the captain. That nickname. First off, can people buy that lovely T-shirt?
Yeah, if you guys decide that this is something that goes along with what you like, you can get one of these in my link in bio. There are plenty available. We've just stocked up before the fight, but get in before they sell out.
Perfect. That his @ will be on screen. It will be at the top of the interview, and there'll be a link in the description below. I wanted to ask that nickname, the captain. You said you were doing some rounds this morning, you're self-training, but I also saw you were doing some training with. You were leading. You were coaching some people. Is that name of the captain something you kind of feel you embody?
Yeah, well, that would name. I think that another thing is, as I was saying about the personalities and the names, they are given to you. You don't just say, "Hey, this is what I'm going to be." you earn them over a certain amount of fights, or something you've done in the gym. And I think that over the last couple of years, out of Combat One under Sam Hayward, I've sort of put myself in a position where I'm leading the other guys coming up. From whether it be through my amateur days or as I made my pro debut, and from there, sort of just led and sort of became a captain for a lot of the guys in terms of how I train, how I hold myself inside the cage, how I hold myself outside the cage, just as a human being. Yeah.
What is that like? Because I know for a lot of, obviously still under Sam Hayward, so I know he's kind of leading you, but what is that feeling like of knowing in the gym you're a bit of a gym leader?
It's good. I don't know if any of you guys know, but I'm a big brother. I've got a lot of siblings, and that's sort of the same thing there, where you look over your big brothers and my brothers and sisters, that I like to call them, at the gym. And yeah, I think that it sort of keeps me honest too, because I've always got to be the face of the guy that's leading the way and trying to give a positive impact for those people. I don't want to have go too crazy after a fight and not show face for a few weeks, which doesn't happen anyway. I basically live here, but it's cool, and it really gives me a lot of pride to know that there are guys that look up to me coming out of this gym. Great people.
So as we said earlier, you were fighting in 2 weeks, defending your Hex welterweight title against Alden Bates, a fight that, I'm not going to use the phrase thrown together because I don't want to diminish it, but came together very quickly. How did this come to be?
Well, I've put my name down to fight as soon as I won the title, because we know that activity is what the guys at the UFC want to see, right? And it sort of didn't really come together. I think we were about 6 weeks out, and I was told, hey, Jono probably won't be fighting. And we said, whether Jono's fighting on Hex or not, he's fighting in March. And then the guy said, all right, damn, we need to do something. I think at that point, the Matt Vale fight wasn't together yet. And the Matt Vale name got put forward to me, and I said yes, and I accepted it. And it was like the next day or two, no reply. And then it got told, sorry, that fight's not taking place. Cool. We just said, all right, well, we're fighting either way. We've already told you that. And then I think it was not even a week after that the Caleb Rideout Alden Bates fight got pulled, and I got straight to social media, commented on that, because he had said that he'd offered everyone, and we had never received an offering anyway. And that fight came together, and here we are, 2 weeks out, about to get into it.
Is it as simple as you go, I'll do it, and then you get a text message and then it's done?
That time it actually was. Usually it isn't, But as a fighter, I think that, we don't get to see all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. I just get a text, and I always say yes. I've never said no to a fight. But yeah, in this case, it literally was that easy. It was simple.
Now, you said if it wasn't going to be on Hex, you were going to fight in March. So this timeline has worked pretty well for you. You were looking for a March turnaround?
Yep, absolutely. We've been preparing, and we have a few other guys that are also just D was going to fight in March too. So we always want to try and have another guy in camp together. That way you can really sort of vibe off each other, which we always do, because I've been fighting alongside him for years now. So we were looking at a fight in March, yeah.
If not Hex, what other promotions were you looking at?
Whoever would have put together a fight that we would have fought for, if that be Eternal or Beatdown or XFC, wherever, we just wanted to fight. But Hex have always looked after us, so we weren't going to do them dirty, and they put it together, and they did us a favour by putting that fight together.
You mentioned there D. Samasoni, we talked about earlier, making his pro debut, and you said, you guys have kind of come up together, fighting on a lot of cards together. What does it mean now to be headlining this card that he is making his pro debut on?
It's incredible, man. Just like we had our baby steps starting off in our fight career. Now, him making his debut, he's going to make a splash into the pro scene, and for me to defend my title for the first time, it's nothing short of incredible. If we could think back 3 years ago, and I was to tell myself, hey man, you're going to be defending your welterweight title in 3 years while D's making his debut, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have, I really wouldn't have believed you. But just like hard work can really take you places.
So you are headlining this card. This is the second card you'll be headlining, second hex in a row that you'll be headlining. How does it feel to headline? I know the first time out, it may be a different experience, but what was that experience like for you?
It was pretty surreal, but I think that when you get into the backstage, you start warming up and you get into that headspace. Nothing can get in your way. You're just zoned in, tunnel vision. You're good to go. So if you're at the start of the night or the end of the night, I mean, for me, it's sort of the same. The biggest difference probably being that as soon as you finish, everyone's run off and headed out, and most of your friends are already on their way home.
Is that a bummer at all? Is that like sad when you get backstage after this moment? And it's, of course, you're surrounded by the real people who are there. I remember your wife was backstage. Obviously your teammates are there. But is that still like, hey, everyone's gone?
Nah, not really, man. I'm a little bit of an introverted guy. So for me, it was sort of like all the people that are really close to my heart were there. And that's that's what matters. And then afterwards, you always get time to catch up in future and hang out and see all your friends and stuff afterwards.
So after that fight, when we spoke to each other, a lot of talk heading into that fight was about Matt Vale. And first off, there was a lot of talk, and you had expressed kind of feeling overlooked and maybe discounted. Firstly, I want to ask, do you feel in the scene that has changed since winning the title?
Absolutely, 100% it has changed. Sort of everyone's give me a lot more credit for what I have done and have been doing, which is awesome. But those guys are still obviously the top welterweight guys besides myself. So yeah.
So Matt Vale fought overseas recently and came away with a loss. Does that change a possible outlook of you guys fighting each other? Like, does that affect if they offer? I mean, you said you would fight him, so I'm assuming maybe it doesn't. But still, does that change possible plans?
There were other fights that we would have put together first, but because they couldn't really put a fight together in March, we just said, yeah, we'll take it because there's no one else. Yeah, but in future, like coming off the back of this fight, I think that, as I've said last time, number one priority is trying to get into the international scene. So if that means if I get that shot, 100%, that's where I'm going. If that's not the case, then I want to try and stay as active as possible. Hopefully come out of the back of this fight, no injuries, or and I'll be able to fight in May. But we'll have to just wait and see what happens.
Talk about fighting in May. Is that Hex 30 card over in Auckland?
Yeah, that's the one.
Too easy. I asked you about that last time, and you mentioned that in the cage. I wanted to ask as well about not last time we spoke to each other after the fight, but before the fight, I asked you a question at the press conference about you're fighting a guy who's coming in from a different promotion who hasn't fought in Melbourne in a little bit. I know he was a Melbourne boy. You yourself, a Melbourne boy. You are now again fighting a guy who's coming in from a different promotion. This time, he's not a Melbourne guy. He's based out of Perth. Does this at all feel kind of like, this is my yard, this is my space, this is my cage, essentially?
Yeah, it does. It does. But to me, that really doesn't mean that much. Like it's cool, to have my own hometown and stuff. But and maybe I take it for granted because I've never fought outside of Melbourne. I haven't felt the booze. But I don't think that will affect me. As I said before, once you get warmed up and you're ready to go, you get that tunnel vision, and it's sort of like the booze, the cheers. I don't think they change much. You still got your game plan. You're going to go in there. You're going to do what you came prepared to do, and everything else is sort of just secondary in terms of the crowd and all that sort of stuff. But leading up to the fight, it's cool to have, being able to sleep in your own bed, being able to cut weight where you usually cut weight, do all the things that you normally do. And like I said, maybe I take that for granted, but until I experience fighting in another state, in another country, I won't know.
So you were fighting Alden Bates to defend your title. What are your thoughts on Alden as a fighter?
I think he's a great fighter. If you take a look at his record, he's only ever lost to some of the best guys in the regional Australian scene, and guys that have been around for a long time. So he brings forward a lot of challenges that we've put a game plan together to work around and to shut down. And yeah, overall as a person, I do not know him, but he seems like a stand up bloke. Seems like a powerful puncher. And I really look forward to getting in the cage with him.
Talking about that, talking about his development as a fighter for a little bit. He has challenged for a title before. He challenged for the Eternal Welterweight title before. And as you said, I'm sure as a fighter, you're looking at him and you're looking at his evolution. This run that he's on to get back to a title contention, what do you see in his development if you had seen the last time he's challenged for a title compared to now?
I probably see that he's taken a step back from the chaotic marching forward style that he used to impose, and he's sort of gotten the smarts as he has aged in the cage. Yeah.
Now, talking about that, so he was originally slated to fight Caleb Ryder in Eternal, falls through, comes over here to Hex. I had heard, had Eternal offered you to fight him for the title over there?
No, I never got that put forward to me. Yeah, I think because Hex was so quick to it, that sort of didn't really come to fruition.
I'd heard that. I just wanted to address that rumor there. As you said before, Hex has treated you well. You're happy. You've got a good relationship with Hex, obviously, as well. It's in Melbourne. But when things like that happen, not so much that, but when there's a welterweight title fight going on, are you looking at other promotions and what's going on in their welterweight divisions?
100% I am. Because if you take a look at the whole welterweight rankings and the scene, you can take a look at, and the UFC guys are also going to be watching that. So you got to see what the competition is. If guys are going to be getting signed before you, you need to either fight them or do something to make a lot of noise to get to jump the queue to get in front. So you sort of have to, because if not, then you're going to be either fall short or they're going to jump the line and get in front of you.
If there is a line, which it's not exactly meritocracy, but if there is a line, where do you see yourself in that line at the moment?
You got to take a few things into consideration. I think that being a young kid, being undefeated, and a few other factors puts me pretty much at the front of that line. Personally, I think so. Some of the other guys are a little bit older, and I've only been doing this sport for 5 years. So if you can see how much I've grown in the last 5 years and how much I'm going to grow in the next 10 to 15 years of me fighting, it's going to be leaps and bounds that I've still got to make. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm number one.
Now, when we look at you've set your goals and you've made that very well known. You're looking at the UFC. Last time we spoke to each other, you talked about your management was in talks, getting some feedback on what you need to do and such. First off, have you heard anything else from the UFC at all?
Not much. Everything's quite cryptic. Everything's sort of like they ask, and they did ask for my fight, and they definitely watched it. But since then, it hasn't been too much. And I think that, as I always say, they want to see activity. They just want to see people going out fighting and not waiting and sitting back for their shot, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tick all their boxes so that I can go and fight in the big show. But nothing concrete as of yet.
If not the UFC, you talked about kind of wanting to break into that international circuit. Is there any specific international promotions you'd be kind of looking to go towards?
Nothing's in the pipeline at the moment, and sort of just going to focus on one fight at a time, and then when that takes place, then we'll move forward and go from there.
Jono, I thank you for your time today. I've got a couple more questions for you. However, that was kind of the fight aspect of the interview. There's some other things I wanted to ask you about, namely being today, we're recording this Saturday morning. It is your 1 year wedding anniversary. First off, congratulations to you and your lovely wife. Secondly, how does it feel to be married for 1 year?
You hear all these things about being married, sign your life away, you get less for murder, blah, 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 this and that. But, man, I'm married to such an incredible woman. Every day she reminds me of that. I think that if you are married and you're going to talk shit about it and throw shade on it, you're not married to the right person, So it's incredible for me. As everything in life, it's hard, it's difficult sometimes, but all in all, it's incredible, it's good. It's really good, man. Got nothing to complain about.
I'm very happy to hear that. So we've got Number one welterweight in the country, holding the belt, happily married, owns a house. Pretty good life going on right now. I not too much to complain about, I would imagine.
Yeah, nah, not at all. Yeah, I am very lucky. I'm blessed. Whether you can say it's from God or just raised in a good household or whatever it may be. Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm blessed, and I've live a good life, surrounded by good people, coming out of a good gym. Everything's good, man.
That's awesome to hear. Talking about the gym, when you walk in, there's a front desk, and sitting on that desk is a myriad of things, timetable, all these things. Behind them is the belts that we talked about, and there's like a little figure of you there, holding the belt around your waist, flexing you got the necklace on. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I walked in. It was a week after Christmas because he got it late, but it was a gift from Sam Hayward, my coach, and yeah. Talk about cool people, what a cool dude to go and get me a gift like that. And it's just sitting there besides his one that I think it was his wife that got him made for. So we've got two little figurines, Micallef and Sammy Hayward, standing next to each other, both with their belts when they've won them. So it's pretty cool.
What is that like to come into the gym and see? I don't know if I'd say action figure. It kind of looks like a bobblehead, like more of a statue. What is that like to come in and you'd be like, that's me?
Yeah. Pretty cool, man. They're making action figures. Yeah, dude, it's cool. I can make you one actually holding a microphone if you'd like.
Oh, of me? I thought you were gonna say make one of you.
No. Oh.
I'd put that on the set. I've got like a little thing in the background of my home set. I'd put that there. I'd put you there flexing with the belt. I'd happy to have that. Thank you. I appreciate the offer. Do you know who makes them?
I'm not too sure where he got it from. I think it was yeah, I don't actually know. Not sure, mate. Yeah.
Not but like a company or something. Not you. You're not making them.
I made it out of clay. No.
Yeah. Bit of an artist as well. All those things I mentioned and an artist. Along with that, in the gym, there was a sign that I saw on top of the mats downstairs. There's mats up here where we're talking. There's mats downstairs that say Doghouse. And I wanted to ask about the Doghouse. There seem to be some rules on it. Yeah. What is the Doghouse, and how do you fare when you're in the Doghouse?
I don't know I think this is classified information, so I'm not too sure if I'm allowed to let
off the record.
Off the record. Nah. So we like to run a little competition, I think we'll call it, that Doghouse rounds every now and then, where you can get subbed or you can tap to exhaustion, and it's unlimited time, and it goes down in like a what would you call it, like a
It's like elimination. I read the rules, so I kind of get an idea.
Yeah, I don't know how I blanked this hard. Yeah, elimination, and as you work your way down, sometimes it goes for hours because there are some tough people in this gym, and then works your way down till you get to the final, and it's the Doghouse match. Whereas it's still relatively
safe.
No, it's not that there's no holds barred. You're not allowed to fish hook, and oil check, and that's it. Yeah, you can bite. You can eye gouge. And eye gouge if you want. Yeah. No.
Is it everyone like at once? Like, how does it? Is it one at a time? What goes on?
Yeah, everyone at once. So if you finish before another group has, then you've got to wait. So you get the benefit of that.
Okay, yeah. So it's not gang war. Get him, and like 6 dudes pull up.
No, it's elimination. Yeah.
No one's coming up and being like, if 3 of us get Jono, we can share the welterweight title. We have it 3 days a week and we can all split it. No one's doing that.
Unfortunately, I have won that before, but I've since been barred. So now myself, and a few of the other guys, just to give the white belts a bit of a more of a chance. So yeah.
Bit of a mat enforcer over here. What feels better, winning the Hex welterweight title or winning the Doghouse match?
Oh, you can't even compare. The Doghouse belt is that's a prized possession. That is a highly prized possession.
It's like there's a WWE title down there. That's the Doghouse match. That's what it is. WWE match.
Yeah, that's it, mate. The Doghouse belt is the WWE belt. You can't get any of them anymore. Some say it's priceless.
Absolutely. It's earned in blood and sweat and tears, and plenty of blood and sweat and tears. And finally, you did some training this morning. You're now talking to me. What does the rest of your day look like?
I will go off to the sauna, do some recovery, and probably, if my wife allows me on our anniversary, could probably go fishing, depending on whether I'm allowed to or not. I think that's a big if. Big if. Yeah.
You already gave up your morning. You have to spend some time with her.
Yeah. As they say, marriage is a bit of a give and take. You know, as good as it can be, you gotta give as much as you take sometimes. Yeah.
Local sauna
Yes, sir.
at your house, or like you go to a place?
No, just down the local Good Life Health Centre. Yeah.
Very nice. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for talking to me today. You defend your title in 2 weeks on Hex 29. Jonathan Micallef, thank you for the time.